Okay, now I'm going to put the Prophecy back together. So it's pretty much a reversal of the videos you may have just watched. I'm going to take the backbone and the circuit board, and the circuit board will simply go on the backbone, and there's two, try and do it like that. There's two little alignment pins, one on the front there and one on the back here. You just have to make sure you get it round the tabs when you're locking it into place. So you put those into place first. Now I'm going to take what we call the slide, which is the clear polycarbonate part. The gear would be on the shaft with the shoulder first, and then the circlip behind it holding it in place. And that I'm going to push through the bearing in the center. I'm going to take the pulley, I'm going to put it over the pin, make sure that the gears mesh up like so. Oops, I'm being silly, I put the shaft in the wrong way around. There you go. Shaft has to go onto the, sorry, the pulley has to go onto the shaft with the shoulder first, but then it has to go with the rip clip end out towards the bottom. Then we put the pulley in. Obviously that now lines up a lot nicer than it just did. That's how it should be. I'm going to take the belt, put the belt over the pulley. It's quite hard doing this on webcam, holding it up so you can actually see, hopefully see what I'm doing. Pulley over the belt, there you go, that's in place. Now very simply, I'm going to take these two parts, I'm going to put the shaft through the backbone and line up the outlet, the clear part of the outlet, okay, and then I'm going to put my fingers through and I'm going to grab each of the snaps, and hopefully I can show you this as I do it, pull it down a little bit and snap it into place. So that's one of them, that's two, and that's three. Okay, they've all snapped into place, and as you look around the outside there's a couple of pins. There's one in front of each of the snaps. You need to make sure that each of those pins has gone into each of the locations, and then that will be it held together properly. Okay, and I'm going to put the rip drive wheel underneath, put the circlip on to hold the rip drive wheel in place. Okay, and that's the basic part of this video, so I'll stop and make another one so they don't get too long. There you are. One thing I want you to be aware of when you assemble the slide to the backbone is the pin that comes through the pulley, and that you can see in place here. Make sure that it's gone into the hole in the bottom of the backbone and that it's coming straight through. You should be able to look through, okay, look through that gap in here and make sure that that pin is going nice and cleanly through, and that it isn't and that it is in the hole, because if it isn't, it'll be pushing the parts apart. You'll be able to see the pin off at an angle and the pulley will look skewed. So just make sure when you put those components together that that pin has gone into the hole. It should line up and go in pretty easily. If it doesn't, a thin knife blade or paper clip, something like that, just to push it back, and you don't have to take the parts apart again, just push the pin back and it'll find the hole and it'll drop itself and snap into place. But it's important to make sure that it is in place before you move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to continue building up the drive, and very simply the next piece I'm going to put in place is the carrier, beautifully ball raced. Watch it spin. No plastic on plastic, all nice clean ball races. You can even make a slight oiling of those bearings every now and then, a light 3-in-1 oil, only a small amount of oil, don't overdo it, should be plenty. Next we're going to take the clutch plate housing and the drive magnets, and very simply all we're going to do is put that over the top. Now if you put it over the top and it snaps flat like that, it's in the wrong location. Simply take it off, turn it around 180 degrees, he says, Okay, and when you put it back on, it shouldn't snap flat. You should snap it so if you hold that metal plate and you pull against it, you'll get that nice magnetic force system. Alright, so that's how you put it into place. A lot easier than the old spring design. And then what we're going to do very simply is we're going to take the E-clip and we're going to put it over on top of that shaft just to hold that all together. And again, that very nicely snaps into place. Snapped in. Alright, and then we take, throwing it around, and we take the extension cover, and that'll just go, got to line it up so that it'll snap down into location. There you go, snaps into location, and that's the next part of the drive built up. Okay, so we'll stop that one and we'll start again and continue. Okay, now we're going to continue putting the drive together, and the first thing I'm going to do is take the electronics wiring harness and simply connect it into the circuit board. There we are. I'm going to take the outlet cover and I'm going to put this into place. Now, I'm not sure how to show you this. One of those tabs will go up down here, goes underneath the motor to make sure it locks down and into place. The outside tab here, I get it on the camera, the outside tab here goes into the little plastic slot right there. This goes on the outside and it should just seat down. When you look at it from below, the black plastic and the clear plastic should complete a circle through the bottom of the backbone. Okay, and that's those components assembled. The next thing you're going to do is take the floor, and we're going to put the floor on top. Squeeze in the two rear location tabs as you bring it down directly on top of all the components. It's really hard to show this and try and keep it on the video camera at the same time. Okay, and it should snap in at the back. Now it's very important that you line all these parts up correctly on the side. This is actually extremely important to make sure that the drive and the feeding of paintballs is smooth. So this part has to be on the outside of the clear, and it has to be on the outside of the floor as well. Right here you need it to be nice, smooth and look continuous. You don't want that anti-jam part sticking in inside the components. It's important to check that at this point and also when we put the shells together. Okay, so now we're going to put the battery pack in the front, and very simply to the left side of the loader, keeping the snap, oops, I had it on, keeping the snap at the top, put it into the wiring harness. I'm going to put it in like this. Again, it's easier said than done when I'm on video camera. So I'm going to put it in like that, bring the batteries inside, drop them down so they fit into the backbone nice and snugly, and you're going to push in the front flex, simply catch the floor, and that will tighten everything around the batteries. And the batteries will be in place, and the wiring for the batteries is going to run along the left hand side nicely out of the way. Okay, so that is your drive system back together, and next we'll get into putting the body shells back together.